Hi, I'm Cristina Samaniri, and I'm here today with the Mendix Chief Ecosystem Solutions Officer, Jethro Borsje. We're here today to talk about low-code, digital transformation, solution ecosystems, and how they all come together. Jethro, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. Very pleasant to be here.
So my first question, people think of low-code and they think, oh, it's faster, it's more accessible, it only builds simple apps. However, a true holistic low-code platform enables untold levels of complexity. So in an increasingly connected world, why is the ability to build complexity so important?
Yeah, this is a good question. I get this from customers often as well, because some people think low code is only there for the easy things. But in reality, of course, you support easy use cases, but it's much more about actually creating a connective tissue across the enterprise. So what we see, I just read some research about this, that big enterprises, our main customer base, they have like 180 applications at least in their application landscape. And with low code, we try to connect them all, get valuable data, make it actionable, and that way really help their operations to scale and to become more efficient. So having the power to do actually fix complex use cases, that's at the core of what we do every day because of these complex integrations or orchestration across many different processes. And we try to make the complex easy by actually building more and more reusable components ourselves, but much more importantly, to help our ecosystem use their domain knowledge to build these reusable components to help our customers.
It all makes sense. Thank you so much for your answer. So you mentioned complexity and reusability. So let's talk about reusability. Why do reusable components matter? What do they make easier? And how do you get there in your organization?
Yeah, so with reusability, at the heart of it, the goal for us is to shorten time to value for the customers. And we can do this by giving them reusable components like widgets, user interface components, right? But also templates, which already solve part of the problems, but even fully fledged solutions which solve the problem completely and which are then customized or extended using low-code capabilities. And this is important because it's about shortening time to value, but also about reducing risk. Because if you use reusable components, which are tried and tested in the field, you know that these things work and they solve part of your problem. Other customers are using them, so you really build on top of other things which are already production grade. So you solve your problems faster and you have less risk. And of course, this is very important for our customers. And we enable this by having several programs in place for our ecosystem to create these reusable components. Because in our ecosystem is where the domain knowledge lives. And if you can harness all the domain knowledge of our partners, we can actually help them create these components and make it easier for our customers to create value.
Okay, so reusability allows you to start building adaptable solutions throughout your organization, which means you don't have to solve the same problem over and over again or start completely from scratch with a new application all the time. So what's next? What comes after that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think for us, it's about both breadth and depth, right? So what we want to do is be more and more purposeful in helping our ecosystem to create these solutions and reusable components for the customers, really stimulate that so the customers get access to our vibrant community and we nourish that community and make it grow. And in that way, both sides actually benefit from it and allow us to increase the types of problems we can address with Mendix. So what you will see in the future is that we create much more depth inside our target industries, such as banking and insurance and manufacturing. But at the same time, you will also see us expanding into different domains and industries, because in our ecosystem, partners are going in that direction. And once we start to more purposeful help them to go there, we will also grow in that direction.
Thank you so much. You had me at more purposeful. I think that's all that matters, right? Being more purposeful as a company, for your people, for customers, for the whole ecosystem.
For sure.
Thank you so much for being here, Jethro, to sit down with me and answering all these questions.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure.